Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Ringru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, it's a new week, which means it's a new week's worth of replays. Today, of course, we're going to be taking a look at another match from Herr Robert's Super Tourney, and who better to do that than look at the man himself on Odon River. Now, Rang, who is he and who's he playing against?
So, we got the titular, Herr Robert, playing as the 101st Airborne. And on the right-hand side, we have ourselves Walther as the 2nd Panzer Division.
Now, a couple things I'm noticing already. We have potentially an off-map column with this P2 on the German side. And frankly, we're seeing the 101st again. I mean, that means twice in what? Twice in 2 weeks? That must be a record.
Must be a record.
And Odon River, of course, we talked about this. This was the last time we saw this with that crazy rush play, wasn't it?
Yeah, with Corbo and the 101st Russ versus a third Falltjäger.
Though ironically, I think the map was flipped end for end. For actually looking at that southern part right now has that horseshoe. We're in the north, but I'm not seeing a similar play over here. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I think I'm going to guess Herr Robert's going to be a bit more defensive in A phase, not try to do a crazy rush, and maybe Walther of 2nd Panzer will try to do a crazy rush down south. He's got the 233, the Panzer II off map, as well as some infantry being brought in, probably just some Panzer Grenadiers to try and do a breakthrough. Because honestly, this is Odon River. It's 3 bridges. It's really annoying to fight over the bridges. It's your best bet just to try to rush across run and just try to get a good foothold on the other side.
Not for nothing, but how is this really going to be a nice rush opportunity for the Panzer Division? Nothing else. Wouldn't you think that they would be outnumbered and enough anti-tank?
If he does the off-map correctly, he should be able to stun the 101st Infantry and then push through. It's going to be ballsy. It's really going to be risky because the 2nd Panzer, I mean, they got really nice stuff, but they don't have much of it, and he can't afford to lose it. Like, he really can't afford to lose that 233, for example. So, yes. I don't know how well it go. Up north, it's just a token defense force, really. But, yeah, it's really just going to come down to how south is going. And Herr Robert's sending a lot down south as well, so it's definitely going to be quite a fight.
Well, even more than that, first of all, we see a Grasshopper coming on in, which I do like. It's nice to see that recon.
Yes.
And we're not going to see that German push at all. In fact, the Germans are opening very conservatively, which I don't think is the right play. Not saying that the rush was a great idea, but I don't think the conservative play is the right one either.
Yeah, it's especially for this map too, as it's gonna be about who can kind of like squeeze in that extra run 2% and hold that for a bit, and then just hold the bridges really. But Walter's gonna be dropping in the off map. Oh, what he's gonna be doing, he's gonna drop the off map, then charge through instead of just rushing in.
But he's not charging through with any infantry in the tracks. These are all guys outside the tracks.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. Maybe he's just going to try to just do a more regular push instead of a rush. But Herr Robert, he's ready for this. He's already dropping smoke to try to ward off the Panzers.
And he definitely is walking that smoke down a huge amount, too. I mean, jeez, that's almost 100 meters worth of smoke.
Yeah, it's a lot of smoke. He's going to kill the Germans with all the smoke.
200. Yeah, the guys must be working for Philip Morris. But the first shells are going to start to come in right about now, and the first unlucky hits. But we do have AB bazookas inside that building complex, so they're going to be more or less, I would think, okay, or not. Good lord! Actual HE coming down. Okay, so with this happening, are we seeing that rush coming in now?
It's more of a a light stroll and a full-on rush. As you said before, he has the infantry unloaded. He's starting to make some ground. He has forced Herr Robert to fall back a bit from his nice position, but Herr Robert's going to respond in kind with a Mustang bombing run.
Well, it's also worth noting the Grasshopper did get squashed, but then again, if Focke-Wulf does beat a Grasshopper any day of the week, the Animal Kingdom is very funny like that.
Yeah.
In the north, we are going to see those token rifles on both sides actually going to be engaging each other. I can't help but feel that Mustang. Yeah, Mustang's going to buy it.
Damn, that's a really good kill with Walter getting the air supremacy. Knocking out those 101st airplanes is extremely important, and knocking out the Bazooka too. That Focke-Wulf has already paid itself off so early on.
It has, but the Germans have still lost a couple of half-tracks. I mean, actually 3 vehicles, it looks like. That's not inconsiderable force.
Yeah, he still has the Panzer II and 233 alive, which is the important thing, but yeah, I mean, losing those half-tracks definitely loses a bit of firepower. He is going to get a nice foothold on in the horseshoe. If he can get the Panzer Grenadier in the building where the Zoots rolls, that'd be a lovely position. And if he can somehow kill the 60mm mortar.
A big ask, though.
It is
But
a
we are going
big
to see
ask.
some more reinforcements to the north. In fact, an American mortar to kind of bolster kind of sagging lines for the moment. And down south, actually, I really was going to enjoy where this 57mm was going, but Germans are very, very efficient in engaging it. I'm not sure if efficient is the right term, but
they're pretty tenacious with that Volkerov, just
that's true.
Bloody
That's
straight
true.
and everything.
That's a very tenacious D.
Yes, it is, Khan. Yes, it is.
But of course, if the Americans get pushed back to this town, it's a great defensive position, but the Germans won't ever move into it. So really, you said that they're going to get that extra 1-2%. They have 1% already.
Yeah. You just need extra, you know, 1% more, and you can get the plus run, and if you can just get enough of a plus run and just hold the bridges, it's, you know, it's not too hard for the rest of the match, because this is Odon River.
I thought that this 57mm was going to have this perfect line in a 2-3-3, but it turns out 2-3-3 is going to be given a chance
Yeah.
to abuse its normal tormentor.
Yeah, the 233, what makes it such a lovely unit, it's the anti-AT gun unit for the 2nd Panzer. Because of the 2-star veterancy and the 9HE gun, as well as recon optics, it's very good at hunting down and killing AT guns specifically.
Well, that's what you said before. That's one of the reasons you cannot afford to lose it.
Exactly, exactly. Especially for 2nd Panzer, it relies on knocking out the AT guns, so the Panzer IVs and all the other light vehicles can move around willy-nilly.
What do the Screaming Eagles to do at this point already? I mean, it's still super early. Barely 60 tickets between both players. What do the 101st need to do to kind of regain a little bit of momentum here? They're definitely rocking their back heels.
Put pressure up north, which is what they're doing right now, as the northern side is pretty exposed. He's meant to get across the bridgehead a little bit, and if the mortar coming online, that's definitely going to help out dealing with the Panzer Grenadiers. The half-tracks have been a bit of a pain in the ass.
We are going to get that M22 coming on in, so we have seen the M22 get used to decent effect. Definitely early on against the Trident here. Probably a pretty good call.
Yeah, it's a good call. He's bringing it up north. There's no AT up north to really worry about, so those half-tracks are going to be good as dead as the Locust comes online.
Quick reminder, you guys out there, these are Panzer Grenadiers with stars, so it's not true Panzer Grenadiers. It's kind of like faux Panzer Grenadiers. No Faust on them whatsoever.
Yeah, which is a pretty big deal not having that Faust. You know, for 2nd Panzer, once you get the B phase, you get Sturm Grenadiers, which do have the Faust. And they also have assault rifles, which is cool. Who doesn't love assault rifles? I like assault rifles, Khan.
Everybody loves assault rifles.
Exactly.
That's why I'm American.
I know, goddamn right.
There was a beautifully thin, like pencil-thin, sightline from the 57mm to the south. Not getting a whole lot of kill on that, but the third barrage is coming down. And that has the potential to clear the way for another concerted German attack.
Yeah, it's pretty much been sort of a creeping barrage strategy down south. He off-maps the area and he gets a small foothold and then off-maps the area again and get another small foothold. Which is, it's a safer way to do it, and it's definitely a good way to try to make his southern push happen.
Yet, at the same time, I cannot help but feel that maybe, and I know this is a radical thought, but to just punch through the middle line instead.
For the Germans?
Yeah, you go and take that nice middle compound, that little garden kind of manor house business that's going on right there, and then you can crush either flank that you want to.
Oh, the manor house thing.
Oh yes.
Well, there's no bridge. Like, I mean, you'd have to take Northern Bridge, I guess, and then try to do that. Being able to go through the town.
Yeah, you would, but at the same time, I mean, if you look at that right there, you are more or less walled off, except for about maybe 100 meters between that northern set of, well, that arterial, if you're looking at it. Where that mortar is right now, the Jeep still has the Zook team in it. I think right there is a nice, even opportunity, but I can understand the skepticism.
But no, it's definitely a good call, like, to try to, you know, if you rush somewhere, try to push somewhere else. Because they wouldn't expect it right now, because Walters, you know, is just putting all the pressure down south. And same with Robert. He knows Walters, you know, sending everything he has down south, so I'm going to send everything down south to try to stop the push. Try to kill some Panzers.
Yeah, so his pop gun killed the Panzer. That 37 mm, it proves itself still effective at taking out light tanks.
Mm-hmm.
But judging by the call-ins already in terms of infantry, let's call it right now. Is Herr Robert going to be running out of infantry by sea phase?
Oof. Probably. I'm gonna say it like 10 minutes into sea phase, he's gonna start be running out pretty soon. He hasn't been thrown away. A lot of AP rifles and engineers have mostly been staying alive, staying alive. uh, uh, But it depends how he also, builds up his B phase infantry lineup. Because he could have like lots of glider rifles. I doubt it. It's probably a lot of AB rifles, A phase heavy for 101st.
It's kind of amusing to me is that the 37 mm, despite the fact that it really is largely ineffective, I think he's completely halted the German push because now what do they have? They have the anti-tank gun, and that's roughly about it.
Yeah, 37mm is definitely a good choice against second Panzer. As a lot of second Panzer stuff is those light vehicles and half tracks, and that pop gun can against those light vehicles and half tracks.
Certainly can. Now, interestingly, the Germans are actually pushing up in the north in the meantime. Only thing that's really going to hold him back is this M22, and he's aligning himself.
Yeah. And there's no AT for the Germans up north, so M22 is going to have an absolute bloody field day. I mean, maybe the Focke-Wulf can strafe it a bit, but that's really it.
But he seems more intent on strafing that poor bloody infantry on the ground. You know, this is ridiculous, too, but I kind of wish that the armored vehicles didn't completely default to using machine guns on other armored vehicles. I realize it does give that kind of eventual stress. It always seems like such a waste to me.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Another flak gun being brought in by the Americans. They went down to the south, but that's not going to be enough to keep that Focke-Wulf off the front lines. He's going to get a good couple strafing runs in. I guarantee he'll be able to freak out that first layer gun, if nothing else.
Yeah, he should be able to do at least 1 or 2 strafing runs. But yeah, the Bofors will come online as we're seeing. Damn, he's got 2 Focke-Wulfs, huh?
Yep.
That is an interesting call.
Well, wolves don't hunt alone, man.
Yeah,
exactly. They hunt in packs.
Exactly.
Ooh,
I usually see with second
good.
Panther players, they usually don't get the Focke-Wulf fighters, but just rape to B phase, use the Focke-Wulf recon planes, and just use MBM as fighters, which is, it kind of works, but it kind of doesn't because they only have 2 machine guns. But at the same time, it's the fastest plane in game.
That's the fastest plane in game?
The Focke-Wulf recon plane is the fastest plane in game. It has 750 kilometers an hour speed. Which
for some reason, I always keep thinking that Seafire is super fast or that.
No,
I guess not. Okay.
It's just a Focke-Wulf with not much armament can be a speedy boy.
Yeah, I wonder why it's really fast then.
Yeah.
We do have the Recon Puma up to the north. I'm a little terrified of this in terms of how the Americans might be able to not deal with it. Of course, to get line of sight onto that locust, he does have to move into pretty true range.
Yeah.
It might be okay. And the 233 down to the south, we didn't check on this a little while ago. Well, he's got tracks and wheels destroyed, so he's going nowhere.
Yeah, that's not good, especially for tank that is... I think with tracks and wheel destroyed, you can't turn. Or was that engine destroyed? One or the other.
I think it's engine destroyed. I think with tracks and wheels, I think you can ever so slightly.
Yeah. Anyway, being a turretless vehicle and having... Yeah, it's not a good critical hit. Especially when naval off-map is coming for us.
Oh my god.
Yeah. He's dead. He's dead. I mean, he's already taken a lot of HP damage if you zoom in on the model. So, at 233 will be...
000 pretty quick.
Yup.
Now, I do like the fact that we are seeing the Germans are trying to mass for an attack along the front. On the northern front, that is. But there is an awful lot of AT right there.
Yeah. All those Zooks bloody everywhere.
Well, Zooks and AB rifles, despite the fact that they can't get beaten up, they still have 6 shots.
Exactly.
Oh dear god, if this Zook team takes out this Recon Puma, that's just going to be embarrassing. I'm going to check down to the south. Ooh. The naval artillery is intense.
Yeah. And there goes a 233 as expected, and 2 Panzer Grenadier squads arrived, so that's going to be clearing out the way a bit for Herr Robert. And up north, like, Herr Robert has a really lovely foothold up north as he's managed to get across to Northern Bridge. And this defensive position he has is beautiful for his AB rifles. There's so many rays that he can just shoot vehicles as they come close. And our Locust is coming online. That's in the Pursuit 251. I thought he was going to get line of sight on the Puma. But he does not.
Barely missing. And we do have the AB rifles moving in besides these canals. And this is that two-river solution that the Americans do have a little bit more of a advantage in, I would say.
Like crossing the river by foot?
Well, they can cross the river by foot, but on top of that, though, too, despite the fact they can get pushed back in the middle, they still have a second bridge to still funnel the enemy across.
Oh, yeah. It's 2 bridges too far.
Indeed, and there's no Storm Grenadiers to the north, by the way, the ones we were just talking about just a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are absolutely terrifying. They make mincemeat out of most things they fight.
The perfect counter against AB rifles because they can that 200 meters engagement distance are deadly, absolutely deadly. And you see, goddamn, as AB rifles are just getting, like you said, mincemeats.
Now, luckily enough for the Americans, they do have that 60 mil that's just dropping rounds on them like crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna run
He's
out of ammo.
so terrified of this M22 that he's strafing the bejesus out of it.
Yup. Which is quite funny for German Panzer Division of all things. Well, here comes our flamethrower half track. I've had 222 can probably kill. I mean, a Locust can probably kill it.
Ooh, is this the second 356? Yeah, oh no, he called them both 356. He's got both naval off maps.
Damn. He really
That's a
likes
huge
the off map.
investment.
It is.
M22 does go down though. But the artillery strike comes in. Oof. Not killing a whole lot just yet. A couple things here and there, but leaving the Puma alive.
Yeah, Puma, I think, barely got hit during that, so that's pretty good for the Puma. But
Yeah,
Germans...
he's wetting his pants, but yeah, I think you're fairly right.
They just like have been for a goddamn Russian machine. Just been tumbled around.
Reminds me, I need to fold my laundry after this. Thank you, Rang.
No problem. I'm here to help.
Zooks in the meantime, though, AB rifles just hanging on back, trying to shoot out a couple of Zooks here and there before they get pinned down. Unfortunately, it's not going to be too easy for them. And oh my gosh, you know what? You just said about a bridge too far. You know what? They look right now. It's like 30 core.
Yep. Yep. Dude, if they all die on a bridge and like block the bridge, that'd be bloody hilarious.
I'm sure it'd be hilarious to everybody but the Germans.
Yeah. It would be a good defensive barrier too. It would be like a neutral zone up north. No one want to go across because you can't go across because the bridge is blocked.
Looks like they'll be okay for right now. And the glider rifle spam coming out, which means the Americans are running a little bit low on those AB rifles, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say so. Because those AB rifles would definitely be good right now, because if those glider rifles are AB rifles, they could just start suking all these half tracks.
Yep, they could.
Yeah.
And the artillery here, I think, has just really gotten Herr Robert out of this jam.
It's just been buying him some time, which is good.
Yo,
this like half-track blob that man's to get across the river is pretty scary. That's a pretty scary force against 101st. He's got the flamethrower dude, you got the leader guy, and a bunch of other 2-5 runs.
And Ramsch just called in too, a P4, the first real tank of the game.
Yeah, proper tank.
I put that in quotes, but
no, that's a true statement, I'd say. I mean, M22 Locust is like the bare minimum of a tank. Like literally the bare minimum to like fit in a glider.
Well, it's no Tetrarch, but
it's no Tetrarch, yeah.
But the last artillery barrage has been called in, and unfortunately, after losing that P-51 Mustang, the Americans. Oh, never mind. Here's a DD tank. Never mind. And life gets easier for the Americans.
It's quite strange though not seeing how Robert get as much aeroplanes. I mean, it's been focusing more on the off-map artillery for support, but I know usually for 101st games at this point, you usually see like, you know, they got a few P-51 fighters out already. Like maybe a P-47 bomber here or there, but it's been pretty, this guy's been pretty clear on Herr Roberts' part.
I think to a certain extent he has already lost 2 airplanes. Now, given one of them was recon, but recon is recon, and you still don't want to be losing it.
Yeah.
A couple hundred points he's dropped just because of that. A second M22 being brought on in. Thinking that this German pocket is going to get reduced pretty quickly here. Nothing else. They can't charge. They have 2 tanks trying to get over a bridge, and there's a Zook right there.
There's a Zook right here and a Sherman nearby. And he definitely needs some infantry for that, like, middle bridge. A shelter. Up north, it's looking pretty good. Like, he's got a good foothold for Walther, because he has 2 bridges under control, so it's not a completely narrow front. But he's still not out of, he's still not off the beaches yet. So to speak. The metaphorical beaches.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
Recon Puma comes on through. I'm surprised that this guy's actually been alive, but...
Yeah.
Walther, despite the fact that we're getting shelled, and the caster's curse, 1 shot, 1 kill. But what I was going to say is, usually, I think you said before about Walther not losing really anything whatsoever, and that was going to keep him in this game. He's been doing it. It's been a super, super slow push. But he is getting that.
He's just trying to whittle down 101st, and in the long run, he does have the better attrition division compared to 101st. So just want to get to C phase, you can get like crazy stupid amount of tanks at that point. Or like a decent amount of tanks and some other stuff. I mean, B phase is really his, best phase, so in 5 seconds that's not going to be. That's where he hits C phase.
Indeed. But here's the question, though. Do the Americans get a chance to bring in those M10s?
Oh, Wolverines. Yes, yeah, 2-star Wolverines. He probably has both 2 stars in his deck. And...
Flampanzer goes down, anti-tank gun goes down, another... 4 units, 3 half-tracks, and one of them being that Flampanzer. That is not inconsiderable.
That's going to completely close up at Northern Gap. He brings the Locust around to finish off.
Like, even that HMG can come on and just keep things nice and stressed.
Damn, that's going to completely shut off, yeah. And then in the middle, yeah, I don't think Walter's going to be having a good time. The Sherman's in position.
Oh, and the Sherman's got it. Yeah, tracks on wheels. And Horst is going to try to rush on through. That seems like a bad idea, my friend. No fragments, that's 1P4.
Yeah, so he's going to be trading a Panzer IV for Sherman.
And yep, that's the one.
Yeah. If only Ramps was there a little bit sooner, he could have saved his mate.
Possibly, yeah, that's definitely true. I think this is a lost artillery strike, I think, for quite a while, though. Coming on down. I think the Germans are going to try to squirt across that bridge, and that's just a shame, because that means that the Americans waste their last artillery strike.
Yeah, that's probably not going to hit too much. But it's got a good foothold from Walther. I mean, he's lost it up north, but if he can just get some more infantry in defensive positions in this middle area, he can... Heck, if he can get to the town and holds that town, he will be in a lovely position. As that southern town is pretty much the arterial for the northern flank. Oh, Ramps gets 37mm, so I don't think that's going to be happening.
I was going to say, I'd like to call out right now that he has gone through that bridge that I said was a good idea. He should be going, making his way south this freaking manor.
He is. He's doing it, man. Those half-tracks pushing through. Heck, he might have killed... he could have killed a mortar, maybe.
Quite easily. Easily. The 57mm was out of position at the time.
Too bad it's, all his stuff's kind of dead. And he's getting hit a bit from
the other B2.
South.
That other P2 off map. That's a good call. It's not going to be great. It will give me just enough room, I think, to kind of just expand slightly, but it's not a huge amount.
Yeah, just a little bit of room is all he needs.
Yeah, it's all about Lebensraum. 203. There's been a lot of off-map being called on in here. So 203 down to the south inside one of those little wacko ambulances.
Otherwise known as an M3 scout car.
Yeah, but they just don't really look like a legit vehicle.
It's because of the top. I'm not going to lie, it's because of the top.
Northern artillery strike, nothing really to write home about. A couple guys get stressed. It happens. Not a big deal.
Look,
Down to the south, I want to check that out for a second too.
look, it's 2-5 run. He's just going for like the home run.
Oh, the dude hanging out way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This 2-5 run is the sole reason Walther is getting a +1 point advantage.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that's kind of like the MVP of the match so far, I'd say. Which is a bit sad.
Unfortunately, I feel like this German push didn't really try to capitalize. So you can see right now, he's getting cut right back off. A lot of his units getting pierced, drips and drabs. Sherman comes back in. Second Sherman, that is. That should be enough to clean up a lot of this armored vehicles here.
Yeah, he was a little bit slow to the punch and trying to gain the area. The main problem was he needed the forest north of the middle bridge, and like the area south of the bridge is cleared out because he's kind of getting shot from the side, yeah, as he moves through the middle. Now he's got a half track behind his own behind enemy lines, but he's actually managing to get some infantry to jump out early. He's not going to kill them, but it's going to take him a while to get to the front line now, so he got that going for him.
Hi-ho silver indeed.
God, that half track.
Now, I am gratified to see the Americans playing very cautiously with their armor.
He's been doing a pretty good job with his armor.
Yes. I mean, he did a really good job with really kind of pathetic equipment, to be fair, like armored vehicle-wise.
No, that's true. That's true. Locust isn't exactly the greatest tank.
Although the Locust did just take out a P4. Which is a sin before God.
Yeah. But his Shermans are doing pretty good. I mean, this is a pretty good map for your Sherman DDs.
Yeah.
As, you know, it's close to range, not many long-range engagements. You can pop around a corner, stabilize shot, boom.
But now that we've just lavished a lot of praise on the Germans right there for keeping their units alive, nothing but just drop units like crazy. Final FU barrage coming and being called on in. But the Americans will not be caught out. Have you ever called artillery down on yourself by accident?
Like off-map artillery?
Oh yes.
No.
Out of curiosity.
I have not done that. I've done it like I call it in. It's like, oh crap, I misclicked it, and I cancel it and I redo it. But I've never like fully off-map artilleried myself.
Like you're being overrun, and you say, you know what? By the time the artillery gets here, there won't be any friendlies.
I usually do it a little bit in front of where I'm gonna be overrun because I'm like always cautiously optimistic that they will survive. You know,
Okay.
so it's just like, okay, I don't want to like completely throw you out the bucket, but you know, I'm giving you like a sparing chance. You're right on the edge. You're danger close. If one kind of lands a bit close towards you, that's not my fault. It's kind of my fault, but I'm not taking responsibility.
You guys should have fought harder. I should have done better. It really wasn't me.
Exactly. You should have killed all of them before I had to bring in, you know, the 210mm not railway guns, but heavy duty artillery.
The artillery park is not in.
We're
back to a 50-50. Yep, so please.
I have walked into my own mortar shots before.
That is something I have also done.
Yeah, because like you're mortaring an infantry unit, it's like, okay, they're probably stunned, and I move up like the stern pioneers to try to clear the area out, but I forget to tell the mortar to stop shooting. And then, oh boy, my stern pioneer's now stunned up. Oh boy.
Are you sure you haven't done that out of like secret hatred for the Axis forces?
No, I like the Axis con. I like stern pioneers. They're my favorite. Especially stern pioneers. It's so much fun.
One unit that's not the side make, as we all know.
Yeah.
But P4's being brought back in. Okay, more and more P4s, but I don't think going tanks is really the best way to break through at this point.
Yeah,
Might be wrong. He doesn't have a lot to call on other than that. But
but for Herr Robert has more stuff on the field. He has the stuff advantage, so to speak, and he's pushing pretty decently in the middle. He does need some fire support to get those Panda Grenadiers, so funny enough that Panda Grenadier in the middle keeps stunning everything, so it's going to run out of ammo. It's kind of a silly way to solve the problem.
Yeah, well, he's just adopting the Russian attack.
Yeah, we just keep sending guys till they run out of bullets and then run away.
Exactly.
That's going to be, you know, classic Steel Division 2 strat.
Yes, and actually, I'm super excited. Actually, you told me just before we started doing this, there is supposed to be Field Division news this week. Scuttlebutt is maybe there's a March release. Someone, I mean, and that's very, very minimal Scuttlebutt, but
Hmm.
super excited for that.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see what information they do release. Hopefully, it'll be a beta soon. I just want to play the bloody game.
I think, Soto and English back here. Look to the western side of the American like a setup here.
Hmm.
Yeah, they were forced to debus early, but I think those guys really pulled a cushy job.
Yeah.
Half track has to get tossed away, and now what do they do? They're guarding the rear. Down to the south, the Americans are starting to make their own push here, and with 11 minutes left, there's plenty of time to get that +1 and be more than enough
Yeah,
to exceed.
he only has to catch up to like 250 points, which is 4 minutes, roughly.
Roughly, yeah.
Roughly 4 to 5 minutes. So he's got plenty of time, and he has the stuff advantage still. So and having more, he usually win if he had more stuff. I think that's how wars work.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that is too. Now, one thing we do have to get a little bit more of is maybe some air stuff.
Yeah, air stuff would be good because he's really like not a single piece of aeroplanes. I mean, I understand it a little bit because Walter's been pretty aggressive with his Focke-Wulfs, but all you need is like two Mustangs or one Mustang. So you get good bloody Mustangs with 101st just to trace him down. He's got the AA as well to help out. It wouldn't be that big of a deal to try to regain air superiority.
Now, I do like there's a new artillery off map being called on in just so that way they can force that P4 back. And frankly, that Sherman DD just sit himself right by that road and just not move.
Yeah,
Just not move.
not move.
But no, he will not do it. He wants to continue to get in that territory. I get why, but I don't like positioning of traction wheels damaged. Yep, that's why.
Panzer IV's not going to be in a good position because he's going to be. If the Shermans cross the bridge, the Panzer IV's going to be stuck in that little island.
Yes, that's true. But if the Shermans cross the bridge, then
Yeah, there's.
they're gonna run afoul of Fausts and flamethrowers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And never mind, there goes the P4.
Damn. Just gets glider zooped from the glider leader.
Which is not a sentence you use very often.
I know, I don't see glider leaders very often. They're pretty awesome, yo. I mean, I love 10-man leader units. Yeah, have bazookas. Like,
Yeah,
give me more of those, please.
yeah. And shockingly decent firepower for that matter,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And I'm always still waiting for a 60 mil mortar to drop a shell right into a half track and kill it.
Especially a flamethrower half track, it just lands right in the center, hits the fuel tanks.
Yeah. I mean,
That'd be so cool.
statistically, that has to happen at some point.
Yeah, it had to have happened at some point. Especially during the war. I mean, if you're driving around at a half track with all that, flamming in the back, yeah, and you're probably gonna be big kaboomy. Someone probably went a big kaboom and died in a horrible napalmic fashion. Yeah, I'm rather quite surprised. I mean, I did say earlier, second Panzer would be having like the better attrition advantage, but that's really not the case. Her Robert's been doing a fantastic job in attrition warfare. He still has some of his. Well, he doesn't have many of his AB rifles or whatnot alive, but he still has Pathfinders and the glider leaders are helping out a bit in the AT department.
Yeah, but
So
I think part of that, though, too, is driven by the fact that Second Panzer, yes, has higher value units as you get later and later,
hmm
but they're only single units, as
yeah,
opposed to Herr Roberts kind of, again, I throw 30 or 40 point infantry at you, and yeah, you kill 3 squads, but I still have another one holding territory.
yeah, that's true. That's very true. Because of 101st, I mean, second Panzer, you just don't get a lot. You get good stuff, you just don't get a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially on maps such as this, it can be pretty difficult.
Now, one thing where the Americans have not been doing well is, recently anyway, is that armored play. Now, while you see the graveyard in what, about 200 meters? Yeah, a 400-meter diameter circle right around the center. Like, oh my God,
Yeah,
like
no.
a dozen vehicles, and some of them are Shermans.
Yeah, it's just all sorts. It's a nondescript graveyard of armored fighting vehicles.
That's putting it rather gently, but yes, we do have an M10 down to the south. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of them being called in.
Yeah, I think well, you can only get the two of
But
those 2 stars. But okay, I guess you mean no star versions.
yes,
Yes.
yes, because you know if you're playing against the Panzers, then you're gonna second Panzer.
Mhm.
You're gonna be fighting vehicles,
Yeah.
light
It's it.
skin, whatever. I mean, whatever you need, something.
Yeah, I think it's been more relegated just using Shermans. Just for the sake. Cause I understand, right? Because on a map such as this, you don't really need a range advantage of the M10. I mean, it's still pretty good to have, especially in its bloody 2-star veterancy. But you just want the extra fire support, I guess, of the DDs.
Oh, last map, no, last off map. I'm trying to figure out how many artillery strikes are left. I mean, it's like I said, but so many of them, and I don't know who's out, who's got them. I'm pretty sure the 56s are all gone.
Yeah, I think he's used up all. Has he? Is that? He has run up north, yo. Maybe he has another 356? I have no bloody idea, to be frank. I mean, 101st gets a lot of off-map artillery options. Because in C phase, you can get the 203s, and they come 2 per card, which is a ridiculously good value. But no, that's naval. That's naval.
Not enough to kill the tanks, but still enough to make them kind of be themselves a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now to the north, you're going to see a 232 and another half-track ladder leader shot up. Ooh, does not get the kill, but another Pathfinder's in the area with softballs.
Yeah.
So the leader might go down. He does. I still do not want to be that 232. He
Yeah,
goes down, and the entire northern flank falls off, which is the American.
yeah, it's not exactly the best position whatsoever. We've got a mobile wagon being brought in, which is definitely a bit odd, considering there's been no airplanes to shoot down.
But then again, I mean, it is anti-soft skin.
Yeah, it's a very expensive anti-soft skin at 120 points.
Yeah, I suppose that's true, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think at this point too, Walters has run out of infantry. He's out of some
Yeah,
grenadiers and.
if you got an infantry though too, that means that he is screwed.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, looking down to the south, I'll take a quick look. Order continues to fire. The P4 is quite damaged, but no big deal. Moving back in for the round. And yeah, okay. Wait for the M10s. But no, actually, shockingly, I feel like the 101st is turning into almost an armored push to the north. Or at least getting just enough armored vehicles. Moderately dangerous.
Mhm. And it's still pretty close point rise. I mean, her Roberts is getting that +1. I mean, both sides are gonna need a +2 to really get the full-on victory at this point, but I don't really see it happening. As it's been, I mean, it's hard to fight across the bridge. All the
Yeah,
softballs.
maybe. Maybe. I mean, let's be fair. If the Americans take out these 3 vehicles to the north, that will all turn blue.
Mhm. Oh yeah, the DD just needs to direct. Oh, the Panzer III is coming in now, and he's gonna maybe get a flank shot. Yes, he is. That's gonna be a Mexican standoff.
With not really any more than, what, one Mexican?
It's a very short standoff.
so, so we see. Now, we do still have 57 mils to the north covering that inroad, which is not one place that even a P3 wants to be. Those guys are... If the P4s are only barely acceptable, then you do not want to be a P3 either.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the Mobile Falcon. So the Mobile Falcon is going to go and start really hammering that infantry. Like I said, it's not supremely talented at what it does, but what it does very well.
Yeah. This means it's a big 37 mil on a top of a Panzer IV. Those are two things that are pretty decent. It's kind of sad that, you know, I mean, the mobile wagons are a cool unit, but it's no Austrians, you know?
And I constantly wish that the Ostwind actually made it to the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably wasn't used in Normandy, but the Austrian is, it's like the Rin's big brother, you know?
It's like a minigun wannabe.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like sometimes, and maybe this is just me. Um, I will say the Ostwind, there only were 2 dozen of them that were actually even made, I think, over the course of the war. Something like 90 or 95.
Huh. That's pretty low.
It's a very, very minimal. What was the other one? It's an Ostwind. What's the other one?
Rebelwind?
Yes, the Rebel. Oh, the Rebel Wind. Is the one I really want to see.
That's in game. That's Trophy S.
Yes, but no one ever uses it.
It's because it's only for like one division.
But no one uses it.
Everyone uses it for Trophy S. It's like the one.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's like, you know, everyone brings it out when they play Trophy S because that's like a really good support unit.
But okay, all right. But they bring out one of them. I want an entire attack.
That's too much, man.
Never too much.
The Panda Free's too much, or as he gets killed.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, that's the Shermans right there, though, too, so it's not too shocking. I do, as we're wrapping this up this last couple of minutes here, I do want to make a quick call out. Next match on Thursday, I think we're doing something a little bit different, going for, trip v trip, aren't we?
Yeah, it's covering some of the, it's rather new 3v3 Steel Division Cup.
Yes, now honestly, I can't wait for that. We saw ourselves a real bang-on 2v2 last week, I want to say. Was that involving the Desert Rats? No, it's Demi Brigade.
I think so, yes. Well,
So
sometime in the past, yeah.
adding in 2 more players means, I would do a lot more percentages, but a lot more mayhem and a lot more destruction, so I can't wait for that.
A lot more kaboom, and I like kabooms, you like kabooms. I think the people watching is like seeing things go kaboom.
Yeah, it's exactly why we have July 4th. I mean, and some other stuff, but yeah.
And here we go, GG. It's going to be a draw.
Indeed. Now, almost even in terms of losses and kills. I'm quite surprised by that. But then again, I guess
it was pretty even, Stevens. Like both sides were getting some good trades, but definitely felt like the Americans are killing more stuff. I don't know.
Well, really, what's happening is that last 5 to 8 minutes, seeing 3 Shermans from the 38th minute up until actually in from 38 to 39, they lose 3 Shermans.
Yeah, and the Wolverine as well. So that's pretty big. That definitely boosted it back up for the Germans. But yeah, it's just still, I don't know, like typical Road on River match. Once you see like the 16-minute mark to, I don't know, like 20 minutes, there's just so many half tracks are dead. Platoons of half tracks gone.
Well, if you look at the kills too, there's a Randolph for a DD tank. He's doing awesome. There's a 37mm pop gun that killed 6 targets, including Horst Ramst. So I mean, pretty darn good there. And the naval off map already, one's got 7 kills, the other one's got another 5. Yeah, so between that, a dozen kills between that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty. That's pretty good use of the off map. I mean, I kind of understand now, right? He wasn't really using the aeroplanes because he's just playing the off map artillery all over the place. So it's definitely an interesting trade-off.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Was it one that you would have done?
No, I like using those airplanes 101st.
Yeah, there's too much breadth.
Yeah, I mean, the off-map artillery is great, especially on a map like that, because the enemy's pretty concentrated. But if you meant to get air superiority, you can kind of just strafe stuff, constantly, like how the Fokker-Rolf was strafing stuff and forcing 101st or how Robert to get AA.
But, as we're wrapping up here, any final pearls of wisdom?
None whatsoever.
Alright, well guys, in that case then, we will see you on Thursday for that 3v3. But until then, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru, take it easy.